under 60 seconds. That's all it took. One drop, one collection, one Filipina tennis star, and the internet couldn't keep up. This isn't just a sellout story. This is what happens when a symbol becomes a movement, and a movement becomes a market. Eala didn't just sell shirts. She proved that her story has already escaped the tennis court and reached something far bigger. And it all started with a single flower. Let's set the scene. Just days before the drop, Eala walked off the Miami Open court after a 6-0, 6-2 loss to Karolina Muchova. Clean scoreline. Brutal result. The kind of night that makes headlines for all the wrong reasons. But here's what the scoreboard couldn't capture. Her community didn't flinch. Within days, not weeks, days, the conversation had completely shifted. From a painful loss to a cultural explosion. Because while the tennis world was still processing the match, Nike was already making a statement. To understand what just happened, you have to go back to Wimbledon 2025. Nike gave Eala a custom Sampaguita hair tie for her center court debut. One detail, one flower, one cultural marker placed on one of the most iconic stages in all of sport. And Eala herself said it best. This was so special for me. To have something that reminds me of where I come from, of my country and my culture. The Sampaguita is the flower of my country. A reminder of where I come from. That is not decorative branding. That is an athlete carrying national memory onto the court and refusing to separate her performance from her identity. The flower in her hair was never a side note. It was the origin point of everything that came next. Wimbledon planted the seed. July 2025 proved it had roots. Nike dropped the In Full Bloom Sampaguita t-shirt, designed by Manila-based artist Georgina Kimu, exclusively in the Philippines. It sold out fast. That matters. Because it wasn't a fluke. It was a pattern. First, the hair tie captures imagination. Then the shirt proves people aren't just admiring the story from a distance. They're willing to buy it. That's how movements announce themselves. Not with one viral moment, with repeat behavior. Then came February 27, 2026. Eala arrived at Nike World Headquarters in Oregon, and what she walked into wasn't a brand meeting. It was a coronation. Career posters on the walls. A dedicated Sampaguita display. Special edition shoes. And then the image that said everything. Eala recreating her signature winning celebration in front of a monument Nike built around her rise. You didn't need a press release to understand the message. Nike wasn't treating her as an athlete tucked away in a regional lane. It was staging her story with the same energy it reserves for generational icons. The headquarters visit wasn't the reward for the movement. It was the company stepping directly into it. And then the collection dropped. Shirts, shoes, accessories. All Sampaguita. All gone. Under 60 seconds. Traffic spiked. Listings went dark. Within minutes, resellers were already moving pieces at triple retail. Not after a Grand Slam title. Not after a year-end #1 finish.
Right now.
While her on-court career is still unfolding in real time. Put yourself in the shoes of anyone still calling this hype. You're watching a limited collection tied to a 20-year-old Filipina player vanish at a pace normally reserved for global fashion collabs and megastar sneaker launches. That is not passive interest. That is flash flood demand. And once those pieces sold through, the real story arrived, in the hands of the people. Fans across Asia and the Filipino diaspora flooded social media. Pride posts. Celebration edits. Screenshots of sold-out screens like trophies. This wasn't commerce. This was recognition. A nation's flower had crossed from court symbolism into something the world wanted to own, display, and chase. The losses on the scoreboard? They're still part of the story. They belong in it. But they no longer have the power to define the entire frame. Because when the drop landed, no one was talking about Miami anymore. And then Nike spoke. With unusual clarity. The Sampaguita is a flower that holds its own. And so does Alexa. A lifetime in the making. A nation behind her. Brands do not casually hand out identity-rich messaging at this level. They protect it. They test it. They reserve it for athletes whose story can carry weight across markets. When Nike frames Eala not just as a competitor, but as someone with a nation behind her, the commercial machine is no longer cautiously observing. It has chosen a side. The clay swing is coming. Charleston, Stuttgart,
Madrid, Rome,
Roland Garros. Events where a player with this kind of cultural momentum can turn every court entrance into a brand event before the first ball is struck. So, here's the question. After the under 60-second frenzy, after the Nike HQ coronation, after a nation's flowers sold out the internet, is Alex Eala already Nike's most magnetic rising star in women's tennis? Do you need to see Charleston and Madrid before you say it out loud? Because the fans who caught the meaning of the Sampaguita before the market moved, they already know the answer. Subscribe and stay with this channel. This is where the people who saw the signs early follow every next chapter, from the next tournament entrance to the next drop that the internet may not survive. This story is moving too fast for casual attention.